Hi everyone, and welcome to today's session. The word that we are looking at right now is avert. Now you must have heard this word before, people telling you to avert something, avert, right? Although it's abort, abort the mission. But avert is something similar to aborting a mission. Avert means to prevent something bad from happening. If you think something bad is going to happen and you're trying to prevent it, what are you doing? You're averting the situation. All right. He managed to avert the closure of the factory. A factory was about to be closed, and this person managed to avert the situation. He managed to prevent the situation from happening. Talks are taking place in an attempt to avert a strike. To avert a strike, to prevent a strike from happening. A global concerted effort is required to avert a global health crisis. Pandemic going on right now. COVID. If you want to avert it, you'll have to follow the health precautions, right? You'll have to wear a mask, have to use a sanitizer, maintain distance. All these things, all these measures are taken to avert the situation. That means to prevent something bad from happening. All right. So avert, preventing something bad from happening. As you can already see, this guy here trying to prevent these blocks from falling, right? Trying to prevent these blocks from falling. These have already fallen and these might as well. So he's trying to prevent them from falling further, right? So what is he doing? He's averting something, averting a situation, right? Okay. Let's look at our next word. Banal. It means so lacking in originality as to be obvious and boring. If you are, totally obvious, your dialogues, maybe your actions or any performance is a cliche. You just know what's going to happen and it's obvious. Then the thing is banal. So lacking in originality as if it's, just obvious and boring. You can see this guy totally being bored, right? He just sat there making banal remarks all evening. That means he was making remarks that were boring, obvious, and he was just doing it maybe for the sake of irritating people. They didn't mean anything. They were just absolutely boring, repetitive remarks. So that's why they were banal. It was just another banal newspaper story. That means it was just another boring story in the newspaper. He only asked a few banal questions about the weather. That means he only asked those obvious questions. Maybe when you're going on a date or you're meeting someone for the first time, even when you're meeting your friends, you might sometimes be asking that same question, how you doing, right? Or how are you? That same old question, right? The boring one. So that is a question which we can categorize as a banal question, right? Okay. Banish, must have heard it. Banish someone from the kingdom. That means to send someone away, right? Or to get rid of something completely. Try to banish all thoughts of revenge from your mind. Now, if you're banishing something, that means you're getting rid of it. It could be a thing, it could be a person. So if it's a person, you're sending someone away. That is banish. If you're getting rid of something, maybe something on your mind, then you are getting rid of something completely. It means you're banishing it. Try to banish all thoughts of revenge from your mind. That means get rid of all thoughts of revenge from your mind. He was banished to an uninhabited island for a year. There was someone maybe, in a kingdom, and the king saw that this guy did some sort of treachery. He cheated the king perhaps, or he was disloyal to his king. So what did the king do? The king banished this guy to an island that was not inhabited by people. Uninhabited, it was not populated by people. No one lived there. They tried to banish him from politics. That means they tried to remove him. They tried to send him away from politics, right? So banish means to get rid of something or someone, right? Banish. Okay. Beguile. Beguile means to attract or interest someone. Can you see Leonardo DiCaprio? I'm pretty sure everyone knows about him. Also, I'm sure everyone knows which movie this is, right? So, to attract or interest someone, sometimes to deceive them, is called as beguile, right? He was completely beguiled by her beauty. Okay, if you are someone who is attracting others or maybe interesting them in a scheme, getting them involved in a scheme in order to deceive them, your purpose is not just to attract them but also to deceive them, then you are beguiling the person, right? He was completely beguiled by her beauty. That means he got attracted to it, and she might even deceive this person, right? Must have seen in movies, women attracting other people and then deceiving them. Sometimes they turn out to be assassins, right? So that is called as beguiling, right? He was completely beguiled by her beauty. Or the salesman beguiled him into buying a car he didn't want. That means there's a salesman, someone just like this Wolf Street, right? So he is the Wolf of Wall Street. And what did he do? He beguiled people. He attracted them. He interested them in schemes and then sort of made money from it, right? Sometimes people were getting deceived as well. But yeah, that is exactly what beguile is. When you're attracting someone in order to deceive them. So let's say there was a salesman, just like our Wolf of Wall Street. And this salesman attracted a buyer and made them buy a car they didn't really want. That means they attracted them, but sort of deceived them because they sold them a car and the guy did not even want the car. What sorcery, right? So if you are someone who is very good at tricking people, very good at attracting them to get your things done or ending up in deceiving them, that means you are beguiling those people, right? To beguile some of the time in Austria, they went to the cinema. Now you can use this word in the sense of passing something, right? For example, in order to pass some time, in order to, deceive some time as in get rid of some time, spend some time, they went to the cinema. So you can use the word beguile to substitute spending time, right? To beguile some of the time, that means to spend some of the time. In Austria, they went to the cinema, right? So I can say that beguile means spending time, spending maybe your important resources. So you can use it as a substitute for spending. Beguile, to attract or interest someone, sometimes to deceive them. All right. Okay. Let's look at our next word. Beholden. Beholden means owing thanks. Now, you must be doing so many things for so many people, right? Now, beholden means you owe thanks to someone or you have a duty to someone in return for help. If someone helped you, you owe them, right? You owe them a thanks, or maybe you owe them another help. So you are beholden in that case, right? For example, you must have heard, no, in movies related to magic, you're like, behold, this was a trick, right? So behold, you have to help them in some way. So you can remember beholden as someone who is being held in gratitude or someone who owes something to the other person. So owing a thanks or having a duty to someone in return for their help is beholden. She wanted to be independent and beholden to no one. Now this girl, she wants to be independent and beholden to no one. That means she doesn't want to owe anything to anyone. She doesn't want to take help and she does not wish to help in return. She just wishes to live a life where she doesn't have to owe things to people. That means she doesn't want to be beholden to anyone. I hate feeling beholden to anyone. That means I do not like the feeling of owing things to people. I want to help people, but then I don't want that case where I'm helping them just because they helped me. So if someone helped you and you are obliged to help them, that scenario would be called as you being beholden, right? You are held, or you're just held up in a situation where you have to help someone just because they helped you. They do not benefit from state subsidies and therefore are not beholden to the government. That means they're not benefiting anything from the state. They're not taking anything from the state subsidies. That means the amount that the state is providing. That means they are not bound, or they are not owing anything to the government. They are free. They don't owe anything to the government, right? They don't have a duty to help the government because they are not really taking advantage of these subsidies, right? So they are not beholden to the government, right? So beholden, owing thanks, or you can remember it like this: you are held. You are, can you see this person is held, tied up in a duty to help someone. So you can remember it like this: beholden, you are held to be of duty to someone. You are held to owe something to someone. All right, beholden. Okay, let's look at our next word. Belie. Belie. The word itself says its meaning. Let's find out how. Belie means to show something to be false or to hide an emotion. Let's say I'm showing you that I'm super happy. I'm really glad about someone's promotion. I'm like, wow, congratulations. You must have seen those people. No, wow, you did such a great job. Oh, awesome, right? And then inside, they're like, they don't deserve it. They shouldn't have got this job. I deserve it more, right? So what are such people doing? They are a beeline, right? They are totally beeline, right? So belie actually means being a liar, right? Be the lie. You are being the lie. You are not showing the true nature of yourself or your true reaction. You are showing something to be false, or you're hiding your true emotions, right? Her face belied the terror she was feeling. That means this girl, she was in major crisis. Maybe she was in a situation where a lion was coming towards her, and she did not let it come on her face. She was faking it, right? So you can say Belie is sort of faking things, faking emotions, faking feelings, right? That is Belie. Being Belie, right? So this girl, she was showing or keeping up a calm face, although she was in terror, okay? His looks belie his character. That means this person is, let's say, really rude in nature, okay? Remember, people who are rude, abrasive. So perhaps this person is abrasive in nature, cold, and let's say, greedy, but they dress up really nice, they dress up elegant, and they look like they must be someone who's really humble. So you can say his looks belie his character. That means by nature, he's like this, but he's showing himself to be like this. That means his looks belie his character, right? The recovery of the euro did belie critics who had initially treated it as a weak currency. So recovery of the euro did Belie. All right. So the recovery of the euro did Belie. That means did fake critics who had initially derided it as a weak currency. Maybe these critics thought that it would be a weak currency, but the recovery of euro made them see it as a false thing, right? Okay, let's see our next word. All right. Bemuse. Bemuse means to slightly confuse or puzzle someone, right? It means that you are bemusing someone, slightly confusing or puzzling someone, right? So bemuse, it means to slightly confuse or puzzle someone. You know, maybe you're talking things round and round and the other person is like, what are you talking about, right? And you're bemused, right? That person is bemused, right? You're not sure what's happening. So if you're slightly confused or puzzled, you're bemused. For example, this old man right here, he seems bemused, right? He's like, I have no idea what's happening. So the old man sat bemused in the winter sun, right? This old man, he's sitting in the winter sun and he's bemused. He's slightly confused. Our licensing laws bemuse visitors to this country, right? That means the licensing laws are a bit confusing for the visitors, okay? So any visitor coming to the country seems a bit confused about the laws. Maybe the law is you cannot tip the waiters, right? That is one confusing law. Like, I really want to tip the waiters, please let me. But they're like, no, it's the law. You cannot tip the waiters, right? So that is one bemusing law. That is one puzzling or confusing law, right? Okay. I must admit that I was rather bemused by his sudden anger. That means, you know, you're talking to someone and they suddenly go like, I don't know, I don't care, I'm not going to talk to you. Then you're like, what? I'm confused. Why did you behave like that? You're puzzled by their reaction. So you can say, I must admit that I was rather bemused by his sudden anger, right? So bemused, you know, amused is like you are surprised, but in a good manner. But bemused is you're shocked, but you're confused. You are not sure what's happening. So bemuse means being confused. You can remember it like this. Muse, a maze, right? You must have heard of maze. A maze is like a place where you can get lost, you don't get the exits, you are not sure which way is the correct way. So being in the maze is confusing, right? Being inside a maze is confusing. So bemuse means to be confused or puzzled, right? To slightly confuse or puzzle someone or be confused yourself, right? Okay, let's see our next word. I really find this guy bemused. He's like, I'm so bemused. Okay. Benign. Benign is a word you must have heard in medical terms, right? Benign tumors, benign cancers. So benign actually means harmless, or it can also be used in the sense of being kind, gentle, or pleasant. In terms of medicine, it means not harmful, right? It means harmless. Now, let's say there is this pretty butterfly, right? So pleasant to look at it, right? So this butterfly has a very benign nature about it, right? We need an environmentally benign alternative to bleach. Now, bleach is something super strong. It might harm clothes. It might also harm, let's say, any object that you're using it on, right? But we need a substitute of bleach, an alternative that is environmentally benign. That means it's environmentally gentle. It is gentle to the environment. So benign here is meaning gentle, right? We need an option instead of bleach that would not harm the environment, that would be gentle to the environment. So we need an environmentally benign alternative to bleach. His humor was benign, never cruel or hurtful. That means some person, he, does a lot of jokes, always makes you laugh, and they're making jokes, cracking jokes. So his humor is benign because he's not hurting people through his jokes. He's not being cruel. He's gentle, right? So his humor was gentle, kind. It was not a, cruel sort of joke. So if a humor is benign, that means the humor or the jokes that you are aiming at someone, they're not really, cruel or hurting the other person. His humor was benign, never cruel or hurtful. A benign tumor is not a malignant tumor, which is cancer, right? Benign tumor means a tumor which is harmless, a tumor which is in one place of your body. It is not moving around, right? It is not metastasizing. That means it is not going from one place to another, right? So that is what a benign tumor is, a harmless, non-moving tumor, let's say. And what is a malignant tumor? A malignant tumor is a harmful tumor. Malignant means harmful. Also, in terms of medicine, malignant means it can move from one place to another. So benign is used for harmless and malignant is used for being harmful. So you can remember benign, someone who is harmless, kind or gentle, right? And a disease which is harmless, which is not at all harmful, is a benign disease, right? Or a benign tumor. Tumor, you might be aware of this. It's a growth of cells in a certain area, right? A protruded growth of cells, correct? Okay, let's see our next word. All right, blemish. Now, a lot of girls are aware of this word already, right? Blemish. There are multiple beauty products which are launched for treating blemishes, right? And I don't know, it's taken as a bad thing in the beauty industry, but guys, trust me, however you look, whatever that is on your face, you have to not stress yourself out about those things, all right? So a blemish is a mark on something that spoils its appearance. Now, if you have a blemish on your face, let's say it is sort of taken as a mark which is spoiling your appearance, but it's okay if it's there. You don't have to worry. A mark on something that spoils its appearance. A mole is a blemish on a person's skin. Now, we are considering a blemish to be something or a mark that is not really wanted. It is an unwanted mark on any surface on your skin or on anyone's skin, right? And a mole is a blemish. A blemish, that means it is something that is spoiling the appearance of your skin. So a mole is considered to be a blemish on a person's skin. This latest revelation has seriously blemished his reputation. Now you can use blemished in order to say that something is spoiling the other thing. For example, a person, they revealed a lot about themselves recently, and whatever we have known about this person has totally spoiled his reputation. So whatever he reveals, his latest revelations, they have blemished his reputation, right? So you can use the word blemish to say spoiled, right? Spoiled his reputation. This is the one blemish on an otherwise resounding success. That means someone is going towards success, but this is the one spoiling element on their success, right? So this is the one blemish on an otherwise resounding success, right? One blemish, one thing that can spoil their entire success. One mark that can spoil their appearance or can spoil any other thing. So blemish means any mark or something that spoils its appearance. All right. Okay, next let's move to our next word. Okay, so our next word is blight. Blight means a plant disease, right? So blight. Blight. Have you heard the word blight? Blight means a sad situation, a sorrowful situation, right? But this is blight, one with B, right? So blight means a plant disease or a thing that spoils or damages something, right? His arrival cast a blight on the wedding day. That means someone arrived and their arrival caused, damage to that event or caused or resulted in spoiling of the event, right? So anything that can spoil another thing is called as a blight, right? His arrival was a blight for the wedding day. A broken leg blighted her chances of winning the championship. That means she had a broken leg and her chances of winning were now destroyed, right? She would not be able to win. Her chances were spoiled entirely. So this broken leg is a blight for her because it spoiled her chances of winning the championship. Marriage is the bloom or blight of couples' happiness? Like, this is a question. Marriage is the bloom or blight of a couple's happiness? Like, what do you think? Marrying someone is a bloom? Like, is it a good thing for someone? Or a blight? Is it a spoil? Is it something that will destroy a couple's happiness, right? So blight, it is also a plant disease. As you can see on this leaf, the leaf is getting destroyed, right? Can you see these brown patches? Right? So this is blight, a plant disease, and also anything that is spoiling or damaging something, right, is blight. Okay. Now let's revise our words. Blight, as we just talked, a plant disease or anything that spoils or damages another thing. Blight. If you broke your leg and you will not be able to win a championship, then your broken leg blighted your chances. You can say blight is synonymous to spoiling your chances, right? So a broken leg blighted your chances, or someone's arrival blighted an event. That means spoiled the event. So blight can be kept synonymous to spoil, right? Okay. Blemish, as a mark on someone's face. Blemish is any mark on anything that spoils its appearance. It could be a mark on your face, spoiling your appearance, right? So a mole is a blemish on a person's skin. And also a blemish can be, the word blemish can be used as anything that can spoil a reputation or can spoil another surface, right? So a blemish is a spoilage on another surface or another activity, right? That is blemish. Okay, now we're coming to benign. Benign means harmless, kind, or gentle. So benign means harmless, something which is kind, gentle, or pleasant, not harmful. Not in case of a disease, something which is not harmful is benign disease. A person's character could also be benign, right? Kind and gentle. Next is bemuse. Bemuse means you're slightly confused or puzzled about something, right? So you're sitting there watching a show and you're not sure what's happening. So you are slightly bemused, right? Belie. Belie means to show something and to be something else. Or you're hiding an emotion. That means you're literally lying, right? So that is belie. Beholden. Beholden means owing thanks or having a duty of someone in return for help. You're held to owe something to someone. You're held in duty to help someone just because they helped you, right? So beholden. Beguile. Beguile means to attract someone, interest someone, sometimes to deceive them, right? It's majorly to deceive them. Banish. Banish means to send someone away or get rid of something completely, right? Banish your thoughts, banish negative thoughts. That means get rid of negative thoughts. Or banish a person, send a person away, right? Banal. Banal means lacking in originality, something that is super boring or obvious. You already know what's going to happen, right? For example, a banal story in the newspaper. That means it's just another story, just like those other 100 stories coming in the newspapers, right? Obvious and boring. Avert, to prevent something bad from happening. If you are preventing the occurrence of a bad situation, you are averting something. For example, you can avert failing in an exam by actually studying for it, right? So averting means preventing something bad from happening. Thank you.